it doesn't sleep. It does not sleep. December 30, yesterday, an email went out to all the club bosses via Andrew Abdo, pinpointing to 4 potential rule changes which could come into effect into the NRL in 2026. Look, it's important to note that these are just, the NRL want these changes to come in. Okay, so these proposals, the NRL want them, so they're not like dipping the toe in to see what the feedback is like. If the NRL have their way, they'll be in. But it's gone to stakeholders, so it's gone to chief executives. It should go to head of footy, coaches, the RLPA, so the players have some say in it as well. But I'm going to pick
they're coming in.
I'd say more likely than not. At least most of them will come in. I'll pick your brain on to start with. Look, the first one is probably the most controversial. It's around the kickoff and the fact now that the side that concedes the points has an opportunity to kick off or receive. So that's twofold, right? So essentially, kickoff's been the way for 100-plus years. One season in Super League, the winning side kicked off, which is essentially what it's going to be now. So if you score, the scoring side kicked off. If you score, you're going to essentially kick off, because I can't see a time where. So let's strip that back. What's your first initial reaction on that rule change, where the team that concedes the points has an opportunity to kick off or receive?
So when I first heard, I went, "Why? Like, what are we doing?" And then I thought about it. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think it'll hopefully tighten a few games up.
Yes.
There's a massive momentum thing, and that's part of. So as a purist, I don't love it, because there's a part of the game which is really difficult. You can see to try the resilience, mental fortitude to then go back up there. You need to defend this set and get the ball back and get back into the game, right? So there's that big thing, and we speak about it. All the teams will speak about it through the year, about how we overcome that adversity of conceding, then getting straight back into it. And now it's kind of, they've gone to the NFL style. You get the ball straight away. Like, it's kind of, you're straight back on the front foot, whereas you had to earn it before. You had to kick off and you had to earn getting the ball back. And we've seen some of the better teams, once that resilience drops in that team that's just conceded, teams can roll them 80 metres and be on top for the next 20, 30 minutes. Whereas now you're going to have a chance to get straight back into it. I like it. As Connor said, at the end of games, it's going to be a little bit different, but the way short kickoffs have gone and short dropouts and things, you're nearly a 50-50 chance anyway. So if you are chasing, you're down by 12, you score to make it 6, a minute to go, you need the ball back, you're nearly a 50, it's not 50-50, but you're a good chance of getting that ball back from the kickoff. And it probably puts more emphasis on go and figure out how to get the ball back off the kickoff. But I do like it in terms of evening the momentum up of the game.
And do you ever think you'll see a time, you captained before, will you ever see a time if your side's conceded points that you won't want the ball?
Never. Give me one situation.
I can't. I've been trying to think of it.
The only situation I can think of is if you want to kick it down and absolutely smash someone. A la Origin when Spencer. Queensland kicked it in the air and
with Kirk Gidley got Kirk Gidley. Well, we saw it in Origin too, when the kickoffs around Spencer Leonard this year as well. But so I can't see a time either where you don't want the ball.
Never. Don't give them a
So
choice.
why do we just not make
I
it?
don't know. There'd be a reason behind that. I don't know what it is.
6-player bench. So the way this one is going to work is that now coaches will have the luxury of having 6 players on the bench, 19-man squads on game day, where 6 players on the bench, you can only play 4 of those players. And then so you still have your 8 interchanges. You can only play 4. You can play any 4 at any time. Once, obviously, a player's played, you can't go and play another one. So maximum of 4 players. Once there's 2 players, the unused players become the emergency for foul play, HIA. Okay, so they can still play a part in the game. So then you have 2 players to choose from for the HIA or foul play mechanisms. But your thoughts on having the ability to have 6 players sit on the bench each game?
My initial gut feeling, I don't love it. And I'm sure I get the health things, the HIA stuff. You know what's a big part of the game, which people don't realise, and if coaches spend a lot of time on it, their interchange routine. What minutes people are coming on and off, how the game goes, who's on the bench. Players like Connor and things like
Yes.
that, do they become useful?
Yes.
Training, who can train in the halves if we need someone to go down,
Yes.
if fullback goes down, there's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes with a 4-man bench
Yep.
that's very technical and strategic. This takes it away a bit. You
Yep.
can carry these halves and things like that. Probably for the product of the game, it is the right thing to do, right? You lose your 7 in a grand final or a big game, and you can literally carry a 7 now, and you don't even have to use him.
Yeah.
Sucks for the players. People will say straight away, does it diminish the New South Wales Cup and Queensland Cup? Is it going to stunt growth? Things like, I don't know how that'll work. I'm gathering those players that don't get to play will play, but I just love the tactical side. And even we've spoken about this before. Some of my best memories are from
that's
games
what I want to ask you about.
when
right?
we had 4 injuries.
Correct.
We've got no one sitting on the bench. The camera goes down to the bench. There's no one on
Yes.
it. You've got blokes playing out of position, and you find a way to win.
Yes.
And now that will be taken away a little bit. But I love the strategic side of it. And just the coaches have to actually think about it. You can't just roll into a game and go, when someone gets tired, I'll bring him off and bring him on. No, you've got to go, who's my best 4? Who can cover positions now? It's just, I don't love it. But it's not the end of the world.
It's twofold for mine. One is the fact that you can talk to this way better than I can, is that when I talk to coaches or players, there's always a moment in a season that's season defining, right? And a lot of it is when you're faced with adversity.
Yep.
Okay, when you're down, you have a head clash, you lose 2 players in the opening 10 minutes, and you've got, a second role playing at halfback, or you've got a prop having to play 80 minutes, and you've got these sort of things that happen,
It's
right?
the best.
That will be diminished a little bit now. That won't happen as much, because if you lose a half and you've got a half on the bench, well, step up and do it.
Yeah.
Right?
And it protects the product, right? So
Correct.
I get it protects the product, but I reckon the players would not like it, and those 2 players that don't play, will be filthy.
Yeah.
I know we get usually the 18th man, the HIA, the sub. He's usually not too happy that he had to sit there.
Yeah.
Right, and they rarely get on.
Well, that's different, though, because this is a coach's decision now live in game. The 18th man, if you're going to be activated or not, and whether or not you're going to be used after that. So this is...
there's probably a strategic part to it, right? Who are your 6? How's the game going? Do you take power people on the bench? Do you take a half? You obviously take an outside back. When do you play them? There's still going to be a strategic side to it. Just the bigger benches.
I do think it does diminish a little bit at the very least. The blokes like Connor Watson, who can play multiple positions within games.
Agree.
Kurt Mann, these guys that have built their careers on...
You're going to bring a specialist spine member.
Correct. So if you're
going to bring a specialist half to every game now, just in case, or a fullback.
We'll use Connor because we spoke to him last hour, and you can hear that on the podcast. If he's in Origin, right, he doesn't necessarily get a game under this rule, because you'd carry... So now the New South Wales will have Blake Brayley and Reece Robson in that 19-man squad.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Robson goes down or Brayley's goes down, you bring him on.
Or you play him 80 if he gets through.
You play him 80 if he gets through, right? So Connor's value is being able to go, I play 6, fullback, halves, lock, hooker. He can do all those and do them at a really high value. But I just wonder what that means for the utility and the smaller player a little bit going forward. So I don't love it. What these 2 rules have been designed for is to try and manufacture a way that the game remains close.
Which I like.
But why? Well, you don't need, I don't have an issue if a team is so dominant. Sometimes
it's going to happen.
A 40-0 game is more entertaining than a 16-12 game. Just because it's close doesn't mean it's a good game.
Yeah, true.
Right? You would have been part of games where you've just been on from start to finish. You look at Penrith in that grand final against Parramatta. That opening 40 minutes was one of the best 40 minutes of rugby league I've ever seen.
Yep.
But it was all one-sided.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
Still
with
good
that.
to watch,
It happens. Okay, and I'm sure you've been part of 16, 12 games where you go, mate, we won. That was an absolute bludger of a game.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? So just because it's close doesn't mean it's a good product. So I don't like the fact that we're trying to manufacture a way to keep the games close. The other 2 rules I actually don't mind. Well, one I really like is the drop ball. So when you drop the ball over the try line,
you're going for a try.
You're going for a try.
We spoke about it last week. I think the 7 tackles hopefully be gone. I reckon they're talking about
getting rid of it eventually.
It's too big of a punishment.
Mm.
Like the 6 tackles from the 20 is enough. You get
Yep.
free 20 metres. You still get your 6 tackles. You get a set start. This rule's it's common sense.
So the rule will
Common
be now
sense.
that if you drop the ball over the try line or, an active score and a try, a non-negative play, I think is how they've described it, you'll concede a 6 tackle set from the 20-metre mark like it used to be for years gone by. If you kick the ball dead still, it's going to be a 7 tackle set. I don't mind that. I agree with that. I really like that adjustment. That's the way it should be. 6 again, adjustment as well. So set restart for any infringement outside the 20 now.
Yep.
Okay, so at the moment, this year, it was inside the 40.
Yep.
Would be a penalty. Now it's inside your 20 will be a penalty. That one doesn't.
I don't think it matters.
That one doesn't impact me either way.
I think the big ones that they weren't happy with were the set restarts they used to give. Say when a team kicked down, they give it on play 1.
Yes.
Things like that. So I think we've adjusted so much now. You could nearly go set restarts the whole way. But we won't. We don't need to.
Yeah.
But it's not that.
I think inside the 20,
it's
it's still important because you know what it means.
Yeah,
like you
you
can
can still
jump, you
kick
can jump
out.
early,
Yeah,
and you can back your defense to make sure
Yeah.
teams don't get out of their 15 or whatever. So I'm comfortable with those last two. I really like the drop tackle and the one over the 20. Set restart from outside doesn't bother me, but the kickoff one, I don't know. I'm a bit of a purist.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's going to get people right. But I think it's been Peter and Andrew's biggest strength.
Yes.
And you could say their biggest weakness, but they're going to cop flack because they have innovated. They have taken this game and they've innovated on it. They've brought in different rules. They've done different stuff. It's the biggest strength of the NRL over the last 5 years. But you're going to get some criticism at the same time.
I wrote in, I've done an opinion piece in today's Telegraph. You read online now, is that I didn't agree with the set restarts, but I love the set restarts now.
I was part of the innovation committee during this period, and it was very hard, right, as a player who's played the game for a long time, and I was sitting in there with coaches who've coached for a long time, for us to get our head around, like, hang on, you can't just change the rules of this game that we've been playing for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then obviously after a little bit, and I've just experienced the Super League, which is 15 years behind, right? Full-arm penalties, you can do what you want. And we are in such a better spot.
Yep.
And it takes someone with a bit of kahunas to sit there and go, I'm going to change the rules of a game that's been played since forever.
Yep.
And small tweaks. And I know Gus has been critical at times about too many rule changes. It's hurting the game, whatever. And there's going to be people like that. But I think they're doing the right thing. They're moving forward. They're moving forward in a world that's so competitive, in a landscape that's so competitive. They're moving forward and constantly thinking about the game.
The other one I didn't like either was, I thought was, where did it come from, was the 2-point field goal, right? Which I like
Another
now
one
too.
Was like, what? It's awesome.
How
good is it
so,
at the end of a game?
I'll put my hand up. Those two things, I thought they were dumb. Right, like probably a
similar.
similar stance that I've got here with the kickoff change and the 6-player bench. So I could be 1,000% wrong again, like I have been wrong.
The purity of the game that we've all watched and played for so long.
Yeah,
it's different, and when you tamper with, like, look at rugby union.
Yes,
they've failed to move forward, right?
Correct,
and it's a very hard product to watch.
Do you
we've gone the opposite way.
Do you have any rule changes that you'd like to see? I've got one that I'm trying to push.
We had this question the other day. I think the 7 tackle thing is the big one for me. It's just it's such a big momentum swinger. But I think we're in a good spot. We're in a really good spot as a game.
But joining us now is your former teammate, Luke, Sydney Roosters, New South Wales, Origin star Connor Watson. Good morning, Connor. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Hey, MC. Hey, Kez. How we going?
We're good, mate. We're good. Where will we find you tonight?
He's deep. Connor's deep eastern suburbs socialite crew.
What's the
where
what's the plan for tonight?
What influencer party will you be going to?
That's all, Kezi. No, I'm back up. I'm at home at the moment. I'm at the Central Coast.
Wow, getting back to the roots. Okay.
Yeah, just come up here. It's been really nice, actually. Been house sitting sort of one of my mum's best mates' houses, and it's a lovely place. And then the good thing about the Central Coast is whenever you come back here for Christmas, everyone sort of goes away, in their 20s. A lot of people come back once they've had families and stuff. But there's a fair crew of footy players who sort of live here, and they've all, like, everyone's sort of home for Chrissy. So I've been training a lot with Starlo and there's some young guys as well, like, that are all in the system. So it's been good to be able to, like, have a good crew to train with, because you know how boring it gets when you're sort of running by yourself over the Chrissy break. So
Stay away
it's
from
been
the
nice, mate. I've
pubs.
been
Stay
enjoying
away
it.
from the pubs with Starlo, please, mate. Have you
He's
recovered?
all right, mate.
Have you recovered from Kokoda? I know a few of the boys said it was a big 7 days. They said you were asking when it was done after 2 days. Have you recovered? Is the body
that's a lie,
good?
mate. I think they must have got me confused with someone else, maybe Sam Walker or something like that. The body's all good. It was great, man. It was so hard. I sort of, you know, when people tell you something's hard, but then when you actually go and do it for yourself, you realize how tough it is, and it just made you, like, sort of everyone, but especially me, like, I don't know, I felt so much connection to, like, the soldiers, and, like, just have like so much respect for them, and, you know, also the PNG people that lived on the track and helped out, and, you know, carried all the soldiers' stuff, and, like, help, you know, carrying people, injured people, and all of that. Like, it just, you can't really comprehend how rugged the track is, and then when you're there, you just like, I just don't know how these people did it. Lived out there for, you know, that crew lived out there for 10 weeks before the army sort of rocked up, and it was all the reserves as well. So it was all the young guys, you know, holding off the Japanese forces that were like 7 to 8 times as big, I think. So every one Aussie, there was eight Japanese, and they held off before our army rocked up and then properly saved the day. So it was pretty inspirational, but definitely felt it. Like, yeah, just the feet and ankles. I don't know how you would have went over there, Kez, with the knees, mate, to be honest.
Excuse me.
How did it come about? Like, who was part of the touring party, mate? And how did it come about? Was it open to all the players? How did you guys decide to go on it?
Yeah, I don't think they could take everyone MC. Like, I'm pretty sure the plan is they're going to try and do it over, like, you know, the next couple of years to try and get sort of all the crew over there. But Robbo just sort of put it to, I think, initially, like, the leadership boys, and then a couple of the sort of senior players. But, you know, you had guys like sort of Gus and Spencer and Siwa, like these Toops, you know, like playing the international stuff or have some off-season surgeries or like babies. We had a lot of babies during the club this year, so there was some guys who had to pull out for those sort of things. And then it ended up being like, I'd say there was probably like 8 like sort of older guys, and then there was, you know, 4 younger guys like Toby Robwell went over, Reece Foley, Max McCarthy, and I'm missing one. But it was, like, and then it was sort of, you know, just the older boys. Ted was over there, Linz, me, Vic. There was a fair crew. Like, it was great, mate. Like, honestly, one of the best experiences I've ever done, and it was something that I always wanted to do. So when Robbo put it to us in the, like, when we sort of did our meetings, the end of year meetings, he was like, mate, we're thinking of going to Kokoda next year. Like, would you be keen? And honestly, I was that excited to go and do it. But then, you know, you sort of hear how dangerous it can be, or like how, you know, everyone gets sick over there that you're dealing with, like malaria, all these sort of things. I was a little bit freaked out going into it, but so far, so good. Just got to keep taking the malaria antibiotics for, you know, a couple more weeks, and then hopefully in the clear.
Did you talk much about rugby league over there with regard to the Chiefs obviously coming into the competition as well? Was there any talk around PNG's entry into the NRL?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we definitely did. We sort of, when we got over there, because we're staying in the Stanley, like, we ran into some of the guys from the Hunters as well, and just sort of chatting to them about it. Like, there's a big buzz around it. You know, every day the paper over in PNG was like, the back page was a big headline about who's going to coach PNG, or like what player they're getting and stuff. And we, even on the track, like, we got to know, like, the porters pretty well, the guys that we walked with. That sort of helped us carry some of our staff, and just talking to them about it, like, they're all so excited. They're so rugby league mad. I've never been over there before, and it was the first time that I have, and just to see a country like where rugby league's the major sport, and just their reaction to it. Like, yeah, it's awesome. It's going to be obviously a challenge, like being a different country, but I think, the passion of the Papua New Guineans, like, if you're playing for them, you wouldn't want to let them down. So there's plenty of chat about lots of stuff, like, because you're spending so much time walking. Although you're walking in a big group, you're only really walking with the guy in front of you and behind you, because you can't hear, like, everyone's just in a single line. So it was quite good, actually. You sort of try to, like, every time we had a break, you'd want to walk in a different spot to mix it up just with the crews that you sort of walked with. And then, it's like, how often do you get to spend an hour with, every single one of your teammates that's over there, and, like, talk from, like, a range of different stuff. Early days was pretty top line conversations around, like, top 5 lists of, foods, like, all that sort of stuff. And then started to get, like, a bit deeper towards the end of it, talking about family, footy, all that sort of stuff, like what makes people tick. So I feel like as a group, for those 12 people that sort of went over there, like, it's definitely going to bond us. Plus, there was a couple staff as well, so I should say, for that 16 people that went over there, like, but the important thing for us is, like, also, how we, include the rest of the squad in that, because it's also important. But I think with them potentially going next year, that'll sort of be the chat around it. So, yeah, it was great. Loved it.
I know you've been back training a couple of weeks, Connor. Just give us a little bit on Daly, and I know Reese is there too. Like, how have they come in, the effect they've had, and how that kind of whole spine situation's playing out.
Yeah, no, they've both been great. Ches was, like, awesome over in PNG as well. Reese didn't end up going, but Ches was great over there as well. It was good. Like, he's just such a calm head, Kez. Like, just the way he talks, like, even in the high pressure situations on the field, like, we haven't had any in the game yet, so it's sort of different ball game, but you can just tell from the way he is, like, just the way he handles himself. It's just like nothing really ever phases him. He's never too stressed. When everyone's sort of, like, getting a bit heightened, emotions are spiking, whatever, he seems like he's going to be that guy that will just be able to calm everyone down and just bring everyone back into sort of that moment, which helps. Like, you get like, we've got a great, like, captain there in Ted's and pretty good leadership group, but I just think being able to add a guy in of his experience and just, like, also for him not to come in and have to be the captain and, like, to be that leading voice, but he can sort of be in the background a bit more and work with blokes, like, and look at who needs more specific stuff in certain situations and, like, how to talk to different people. Like, he can probably focus on that a bit more, and we did speak about that on the track as well, and I was really excited for that. And then, Reese has come over, and he, again, like, just to add a player like him, Origin starting hooker, it's been great, mate. It's sort of, we only really got 2 weeks of it before we went over to Kokoda, and those combinations were starting to work well. Like, we're doing a little bit of 13 on 13 stuff, and it was a good sort of starting to get a good combination between semi and walks. And then, me and Reese, like, I was doing most of my training at 13. I didn't really do any sort of stuff at 9 before Chrissy, but I'd say I'll probably start to get a few more reps in because, if sort of Reese needs a break or whatever, like, I'll be able to jump in there and fill in, but we'll just see what happens.
And what about, there's some rule changes that the NRL are potentially going to bring in, mate, next year. So there's twofold here. The big one's around the kickoff. What's your thoughts on that potential change to the kickoff rule?
Yeah, I don't really like it, to be honest, MC. I don't really like it. I just think, like, I like it the way it is. If you score, you should be able to get the ball back, especially if like, if you get to the end of the game and you're trying to make a comeback. Like, how many times do we see it where you're trying to make a comeback, a team goes and scores, they have one set to go and score. If they change the rule, then it just sort of skews it in favour of the team that's conceded, right? Yeah. It makes that team be able to receive, and although, like, short kickoffs are pretty prominent in the game, still, you'd rather be receiving a short kickoff than trying to kick one. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think, like, I can sort of see, like the bench one, I can understand it because I guess the injury and concussion rates and all that are so high. So, I mean, you guys could probably tell me, is that why they brought that one in?
Yeah, I think it's to stop and safeguard against, like, if you lose a halfback early, you shouldn't be disadvantaged, for the rest of the game. I just wanted, like, from a utility point of view, you're a guy that's played lots of positions, right? Does that change? Like, does that change the fact now that there might be 19-man players on the squad?
Maybe, to be honest. Yeah, I probably didn't think of that. It probably does, because you can carry.
Should have thought of that, guy.
Yeah. No, actually, I hate that rule. I hate that rule. It's horrible.
All right, mate. Awesome, Connor. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy being back home. Good luck for next year, and we wish you a happy new year.
All right, guys. Thank you. I'll
Thanks,
speak to you soon.
It's every day over summer, Luke. I've been asked from the Dragons fans, are they signing anyone? And the answer was no. Nothing doing. Let's see. They're in for Keaon. Don't think they'll get Keaon, but they ended up signing him. So I was at my parents' house on Boxing Day, sitting there. The phone rings, and they're like, "Oh, you might want to check this Keaon situation."
Who
I'm
from?
Like, oh, please. I'm like,
come on.
We're not that close yet. And I said to my old man, like, Dragons tragic, right? And the kids were in the pool. I said, "Oh, Mum, Dad, like,
I need to speak to you in the background.
No, Dad, got some good news for you." He goes, "Oh, looks like Keaon's going to go. But I need you to look after the kids because I got to go inside and make some calls." Because Dad's like, "Yep, you can do what you want. You just delivered me the best Christmas news ever," right? So from a Dragons perspective, that's how they feel, right? It's a sense of relief, I guess, in a way. It's a sense of hope, a sense of optimism that this is the circuit breaker that they've needed because they haven't landed a big fish for a long time.
Ben Hunt.
Ben Hunt was the last one, but I would argue that the offer to Ben Hunt was so good that he had no choice. Okay, Brisbane basically said, "Mate, we can't compete with you." No other club was really in for Ben Hunt. You look at Keaon, his incumbent club, South Sydney, which is a great club, wanted to keep him. Parramatta, a club on the rise, wanted to sign him. And obviously the Dragons came in and got that deal done. So, they signed Valentine Holmes last season, but Valentine Holmes, whilst he was an incumbent Test player, it was his current club said, "You can go."
Yeah.
Okay. So there's all these. I don't think, the last player that I can recall. Ben Hunt comes to mind. Gareth Widdop comes to mind. Jeremy Smith was really good for him when they signed him but he was only there for 2 years. So I'm going to say this is the biggest signing that they've made since the Dragons and Illawarra merged in '99.
Ooh.
Okay, it may not be Darius Boyd was so good when he came. All these guys, Michael Wayman, Neville Costin, these guys that were key
Wayne's
parts.
probably arguably their biggest signing.
But in terms of players, I just feel like this guy's just come off the back of playing for Australia. Okay, he played in the Ashes. He's getting to the peak of his career. He was sought after, and somehow the Dragons found a way to sign him. And that's not something that they've been able to do. Look, 5 years for mine is probably too long.
Yep.
Okay. If you're sitting there going, all right, in an ideal world, he's 27, turns 28 next year. It's probably too long. But I'm not going to be critical of them for doing that because that's what they needed
to do.
What are your thoughts on Keaon?
Great. I think it's a great signing. I'll be interested to know if they're going to play him in the middle or on an edge because I obviously had a fair bit to do with him, play against him at the back end, and he is destructive on an edge.
Yes.
And just Cam was obviously injured last year, so they moved him into 13. Did a great job for him, but he lost that. I felt like he lost that power and punch on the edge. I'd love to see him as an edge back row, but I'd love to know what their plans are with him. Like, does he go into the middle? Does he play on an edge? But in terms of signing, outstanding. Obviously, said before, Mitch Moses was at golf with Teddy. I know they were keen. They have a really high opinion of him and thought they were a big chance too. So good on the Dragons. Daniel Anderson just got there, so obviously he's probably taken the lead on this one. Yep. Got the chopper out. How much would that have cost, the chopper ride?
Oh, that's to say. I was going to say it was dead set.
They rolled the red carpet out. Good on them. Good on them. Because this is what you have to do to compete with the big dogs.
This is the point. This is the point, right? The Dragons have gone about their business, I don't know, slowly over the past couple of years. They haven't thought outside the box. They've been pretty reactive in a way. But Tim Watsford's arrived as the new chief executive, and Daniel Anderson, as you said, is the chief recruitment officer, and it's their first major scalp together. And thinking outside the box, trying to go, okay, well, what hasn't worked for us? A lot of things haven't worked for them, right? So they rolled the dice. They got a chopper.
Good on them.
It would have cost, I checked, it wasn't a sponsored chopper, so they paid for it. So it would have been at least $3,000
This is what you got to do.
Return flight,
So
return
these teams
from
have to do it.
Sydney to Wollongong on a day. It was during the day that the chopper ride happened, and full credit to Daniel Anderson, Tim Wattsford, and I just feel like now there's been a stench about the Dragons, okay, for their inability to land big scalps, their inability to play finals footy. Regardless of, I don't have high hopes for them in 2026, but regardless now, you go, okay, there's a sense of goodwill. We've seen it with clubs in the past. South Sydney with Rory Asatasi. The Bulldogs with Matt Burton and Kickout, getting those scalps, getting that one, and then hopefully now you can see things follow, because that forward pack at the Dragons, it's very good. It's very young, okay, but if they can keep Jaden Sewer, who's got an option his way for 27 and beyond, you keep Sewer and you have Keaon, they're your cornerstones of that forward pack. Then you got the Couchmans, Hamish Stewart, Dylan Egan, these young guys who are going to be very, very good NRL players, right? So the forward pack is set. They obviously still need a long-term fullback and probably a half to complement that rest of the squad before you go, okay, these guys are actually going to challenge for the title. But I feel like they've done well to get him there.
Real well. Like it's a big one for South too to lose.
Yeah.
Keaon. He's probably their best player last year. They were obviously in there. You said that all three teams were kind of around that similar figure.
Yeah.
So Keon's obviously made the decision. This is where he thinks he's probably going to find success.
Yeah.
They've obviously sold him, the dream that where that club's going. He's obviously had a really good chat with Flano too, because that's a big one as a player.
Big one.
The coach is the number one thing you look at first. It's like, do I get along with this guy? And we're on the same page? Is he talking the way I want him to talk? Are they kind of building success? And obviously Flano's had that chat with Keaon.
Yep. 958 says, geez, I wouldn't say Keaon is $1 million player. Had a good last season, but they're paying overs for me. The issues, I think he is $1 million player. If you play in that, there's two elite middles off contract at the moment. Payne Haas, okay? What's Payne Haas worth? 1.4
Name your price.
$1 million, okay? And then Tino, what's Tino worth? 1.1?
Yeah.
Okay. Keon's that next tier down. So that becomes around $9 to $1 million.
Yeah.
The interesting thing for me, which I don't know, is if that fifth year has ratchet clauses, because by the fifth year, that's
any options in this deal?
I don't think there's
any
any
player options.
Good question. I'll find out. I never thought about it.
Hopefully not.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
But yeah, he is. He is that next tier down. You'd love to see him kind of crack into that Origin arena again and kind of go to the next level, which might happen. He'll be the alpha in this pack. He'll be the leader of the pack. And with that money comes a bit of responsibility.
Yep.
A lot of the results are going to fall on him.
Joe Fundura, where do you think Keaon will play, back row or prop? He went to a new level in the front row. I'm like you. I prefer him on an edge. I feel like they've bought him as a middle, but it won't stop him hypothetically. If there was another, if they found a middle, well, you can go, okay, well, you just slot back on the edge.
Young Lock comes in.
And
a lot of them now can play both and you can start him in the middle, move him to an edge. I love him on the edge just because I've felt his power. I've felt what he can do on an edge, how much he can help a half. I do like him on the edge, and him and Sewer on the edge would be elite. Let
us know, Dragons fans. Are you happy? Did you wake up on Boxing Day with a bit of a hangover and some good news?
You know, Michael, doctors say a proper breakfast includes eggs, bacon, and breakfast with Fossey and Brandy. So get your daily fix through our socials and listen live on SEN Radio.